I keep waiting to be in the right mood to film, but I want to talk about something that sucks. So I don't think there's gonna be a time where I feel good and ready to film. But I'm gonna talk about my struggles with grief and death over the past year, which hasn't been fun. So, I'm never gonna be in the right mood for this. So I don't have anything planned beyond I want to talk about grief, and I'm just gonna talk for a couple minutes and die of a heat stroke because the might go pick up my AC. Last January, my dog died, which isn't what this video is about. It gets deeper. Um, but that was really hard because I've had him since I was like what, 4? And I was 8. How does birthdays work? Was I 18 or 17? I was young. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I was old. I don't know. I wasn't 4 anymore. He was there for a good portion of my life. Um, and then pretty much immediately after, my grandma started being in and out of the hospital. We knew it was the end of her life. And then in May, she did die. And she had a celebration of life instead of like a normal funeral. And at that funeral, I remember I had my cousin there, and she was dancing, and we were going to say our goodbyes. But Wannabe by Spice Girls started playing, and I wanted to listen to it, so I made my family stay behind. So we got a couple extra minutes at the celebration of life that I spent right next to my cousin. Um, and then 2 months later, in July, my cousin, who lives in a different state than me, got in a tragic accident and she died. Which means that the last time I saw her was our grandma's celebration of life. And we left early. Like, we left hours before everyone else. Um, but it's really hard because, like, with my dog, we knew he only had a little bit of time left. He was an old dog. With my grandma, she has been dying for the past, like, 6 years. So, like, that sucked, but there was at least a build-up of grief to it. My cousin was only 15. Never, like, when I got texts that would be like, when you wake up, come downstairs, we need to talk to you. Never once did, oh, my 15-year-old cousin is dead, cross my mind. Because that's, like, the unfathomable. Obviously, July was really hard. Going to her funeral, seeing her in the hospital bed before they, like, pulled the plug. Um, all of that was really hard. But, like, even though she was brain dead, she was still technically, like, being kept alive. They, like, were pumping her lungs and whatever. So, like, she didn't. I don't think I comprehended then that she was actually dead. Even at, like, the funeral when they buried her, I don't think my brain fully let me process that, like, I would never see her again. And it wasn't until August, really, that it, like, hit me that, like, oh my god, she is dead and I don't know what happens after you die. Like, she's really religious, so I hope her afterlife was what she expects it to be. I'm pretty agnostic. I don't, like, I, it's not that I don't necessarily believe in life after death or anything, but I can't confidently say that she's in a better place or anything. And that's really hard. Oh my god, I just started. Oh no. And I started, like, talking about her passing in, like, places where it wasn't necessarily appropriate. People didn't want to hear it. Um, so I made, like, a private Twitter account where I only let some people in, and all I talked about for months was her, just stuff about her. Um, I had consistent dreams about her, and some of them were nightmares, where like I knew she was gonna die and I couldn't save her. But then sometimes, these ones were honestly pretty comforting. I would have dreams where I'm like at school or something, whatever, and I'll like look out a window and she'll be in like the backyard like doing cartwheels and stuff because she was a cheerleader. She loved tumbling and gymnastics and all of that. Um and the reason I'm making this video is because since the 1 month anniversary is in like a week, more than that, like 2 weeks, um the nightmares have started to come back, but like worse than they ever were before. I think it started when my dad had a health scare recently and he went to the hospital. And I was like, oh my god, this is way too soon to the 1 year anniversary of my cousin. Like, you cannot be doing this. Like, you gotta get better. But that night, he like, he's fine by the way. But that night that he was like in the hospital, I had a dream that he like said to me that he wishes it was me instead of my cousin and stuff like that. And that like, he would never say that. I have a good father. But that like really got to me. Like, that was bad. But the dream I had a couple days later, like 2 days ago now, when I'm filming this, I think this video is gonna come out tomorrow. Yeah, it's 11:40. I'm not editing this and finishing filming in 20 minutes. This is coming out tomorrow. Um, but I don't even think I can say what happened in the dream on here. Like, I think I will get in trouble. It was very violent. Um, it took place in my bedroom, which I literally like couldn't be in my bedroom all day because I just kept seeing the dream in my room, if that makes sense. And it like terrified me because I was such like so in my dream I wanted to and for some reason my cousin who does not live anywhere near here was also here, and I was like, oh, so she needs to too. Dream logic. Um so I'm gonna be vague here. Like around where the ceiling fan is, on the ceiling down, she was there. If that makes sense. And then I was like freaking out after because I was too scared to myself. Um, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So I held her in my arms, which felt so realistic. Like I felt like I was actually holding her in real life, which is why this dream messed me up so bad because it's like I couldn't convince myself it didn't happen because I could feel her in my arms and I could see her in my room. I picked her up and I carried her to my closet, which is in the other room in the hallway. And I put her just in a cardboard box and let my parents like deal with her. Um, and it like, even though I obviously didn't do that, it still is just affecting me so much that like my brain could even conjure up me doing that. I remember it was one thing that was strange to me. It was the first holidays without her was really weird, or like really hard, which was weird. Um, like that Thanksgiving, because obviously it really started hitting me in August. So like Thanksgiving came around, which is a family holiday, sure, but I've never spent Thanksgiving with her. I don't think ever in my life. For some reason, I just kept crying all day because Aubrey wasn't there. Cousin name drop. Didn't mean to say it. That's okay. Um, and a couple days before that, my dad was like yelling for me downstairs, not like yelling at me, but just like calling my name. Um, and I kept like yelling back to no response. And then he like came up to my room and was like kind of jokingly being like, "Why do you make me come all the way up here?" But I was emotional at the time about everything, so I was like yelling back. And then sorry. He started talking about like asking me when I was gonna clean my room. And then he was like, one of these days I'm gonna bring up a box and just start filling it with whatever. And then like what really made me upset was him going, "You've had months." And it's like it just really got to me because it's like, yeah, I wonder what happened in the last couple months for me to not have motivation to take care of myself. Anyway, the point of that was, for some reason, the idea of cleaning my room and cleaning out my brother's room and like redecorating it to make it my own got to me so bad because she obviously doesn't live here, so I don't have much of her here. And the idea of having like a bedroom that like she had never been in before like really freaked me out. And like I don't know if I believe in like spirits and stuff, but I do ask her for a sign a lot, and I honestly like there's been some crazy coincidences where it's like, how am I supposed to confidently say that this isn't like a sign? I remember a little bit after, like a month after the grief really started to get to me, I like asked her for a sign, and then the next day, me and my family were watching an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I noticed like in the credits, um, a director who had the it had my cousin's last name and her mom's last name as like a hyphened last name. And then I like looked up to see if I was right, and this person only directed like 6 episodes of the show. And it's like, yeah, that obviously could just be nothing, but like it made me really happy in the moment, which is like what's really important there. Um, this robe right here, I wear like every day in my room. It was the robe my aunt wore when she gave birth to the twins. My cousin's a twin. Pouring context. But like not when she gave birth, but like in the hospital after, there's a picture of her holding both of them in this robe. And like sometimes I'll see an eBay listing or something that'll be from her hometown, which is like definitely nothing. But what also was hard is she died, like was officially dead, exactly 6 months before her 16th birthday. Obviously, 16th birthdays are important to girls anyway, but she had a plan that she was going to come down to where I live and we were going to throw her 16th birthday party. And obviously, we never got to throw that party, which really sucked. It was the summer before her freshman year of high school, which she was so excited to do. She was so excited to go to high school. Um, she was a cheerleader, like I said. She had been auditioning, trying out, whatever, for this one cheer team over and over and over again, and she kept getting like declined. And then she finally got in, but she never got to cheer with them. And it's just like the world is so unfairly cruel because like obviously I don't want anyone to die, but like why her and why then? Jesus. You know? And we looked pretty similar, especially when we were little, but we still do. And I remember one day, I like randomly remembered that like I know her TikTok. So I went to her TikTok and I looked at her reposts on there. And maybe this is about other cousins, but she had so many videos about reposted about cousins. Like this one says, told him I miss someone I don't get to see very often. Oh, like your ex or something? Holy freaking airball, long distance cousins. But then it's like this one, y'all twins, nah, we cousins, and stuff like that. And it's like we got told we were like twins all the time. It's like a girl's best friend will always be their cousin. And the bond I have with my cousins is something I would want everyone to experience. My cousin will always be my best friend. Me, when I talk about my favorite long distance cousin, behind two cousins who hardly see each other anymore are their younger versions who were inseparable. And it's just like those feel really targeted at me because a couple years ago, I like snapped at her and like yelled at her. And then we like never really talked much after that. And I was just starting to get the confidence to like talk to her a little bit. Like when we were in the hospital for my grandma, I like complimented my grandma gave us all like the rings off her fingers. And I like complimented the ring she had. And I was like, oh, I really like that. And then I told her I was really excited for her to come for her birthday party, but also she wanted to move in with us when she like turned 18 and graduated high school. So I told her I couldn't wait for that. And then the next time I talked to her was the celebration of life. And our goodbyes were so rushed. And then I just never get to see her again. And I think that's just so unfair. And it's just so messed up that like she never got to have our party here. She never got to move in with us because like she wasn't the biggest fan of where she grew up. She always loved it here so much more. And she had a plan to come be here. She never got to. For her birthday, we tried to celebrate it here. We went to Build-A-Bear and I got a bunny stuffed animal. Because when we were in the hospital for her, there was like an abnormal amount of bunnies. Like 30 of them kept walking by me as I was sitting outside getting some fresh air. So like I take bunnies as like a sign from her now. So I got a bunny. I put strawberry scent in it. That's just my personal. I wanted it to smell like the strawberry shortcake dolls, which it does. I put this clip of her saying I love you to my grandma and then my grandma saying it back. And I got the cheerleading outfit for it. And I've slept with it every night since January. People do the like long live whatever, like hashtags or whatever. There's a similar one for her, and I have it on a t-shirt. And I wear that shirt like multiple times a week, honestly. And I leave it on for so many, like, I live in that shirt. And I don't have it on right now, but I have a necklace with an A on it for her name that I wear when I go to like special events so that I can bring her with me. And I have a framed picture of her here on my desk. And I have a lot more pictures of her. Not really physical yet. I need to print those out. But I have a whole like Google Doc of so many pictures of her that I want printed. I don't think my mom's gonna let me get all of them printed. So I still have to organize that a bit more. Um, but how I've just been trying to get through grief is just like honoring her the best I can every day. And like even when it hurts to think about her and I don't want to cry, I still think about her and I still cry. Because I don't, like, if I tragically died, I wouldn't want everyone to just forget about me because that was easier, you know? I would want, especially if like you can see your family or whatever, I'd want to see that they cared for me. So so I always try to show that I care just in case, because I don't know what happens after. I can't be confident on that. But yeah, the 1 year anniversary is gonna be soon, and I don't feel ready for it, but I don't think I ever will. So I just gotta power through. What sucks is it's the 4th of July, so there's gonna be fireworks going off all night, especially because it just got legalized in my state, like officially, or at least city. I don't know if it was always legal in my state. Um, but shortly after that, my family is gonna come into town, her family, and we're just gonna have family reunion and talk about her. We're gonna have like a memorial table for her, and I'm really excited to see them again, not at a funeral. The last time I saw my cousin alive was at a funeral. Then the next time I saw her was before her own. Like that. I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just making it worse. But I've been dealing with grief for a while, and it got better for a while, but it's back. Like today, my mom literally just said her name, um, because she has like a plant dedicated to her in our garden. So she said like, "Oh, the Aubrey area," and I just started crying, like just from the mention of her name. Um, so that's why I wanted to talk about her, because it's clearly with the nightmares and crying just at the mention of her name, it's obviously getting to me again. I just wanted to get some of it off my chest. Um, it feels weird to do the close up goodbye that I've been doing, so, but bye.